Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from BLOCKS. This conversation was recorded on February 17th, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we are talking with BLOCKS. They are the mining NFTs for the KOR Blockchain project, and they're getting pretty close to go time. So we're going to be very interesting to learn more about them. They are probably some of the coolest NFTs I've seen on the Kadena marketplace. You can go and check their Twitter and see lots of little sneak peeks of the different characters and things like that. They even have some Kadena ecosystem traits. So make sure you guys go check that out. So why don't we start off with a brief introduction and just kind of a brief description of what KOR and BLOCKS are all about. So take it away, Chase.
Thanks, Chris. And first of all, thank you everybody for joining this space. I cannot express how much it means for your guys' support and everything, and taking the time out of your day to, learn about Kadena and certain projects. So that's what I first want to come out and say. But my name is Chase Balliet. I'm the founder of KOR Blockchain, and KOR Blockchain started as a self-mining operation, and then we began dabbling into turning our self-mining miners into NFTs that the public can use and mine with, correct? So after over a year of mining and doing our own infrastructure and everything, we've decided to launch a sub project called BLOCKS, and that's the Twitter that I'm speaking from right now. So what BLOCKS is in a nutshell basically is the same thing that you see with these other mining projects as far as attaching hash rate and fractionalizing a miner into NFTs. But we decided to take a different spin on this project and to make it more fun and add more of a degen, NFT aspect that we all love, right? Because this is essentially, what got us all in this space. So what BLOCKS will do is we will pair ASIC miner hash rate, specifically Kadena hash rate, and we'll pair them to each miner. And what determines your hash rate, or each NFT, sorry, and what determines your hash rate is the rarity that you mint. So we have a collection of 1111 NFTs, and basically we have legendary, epic, rare, uncommon, and common, and whatever rarity tier your NFT falls in when you reveal will determine the hash rate. So we actually will be leaking that hash rate on the 24th here shortly. And it'll basically, well, actually what we're going to do, since, we're getting closer, I can share a little bit of alpha on that. What we're actually going to do is we're going to leak 3 rarity tier models. And this way we can actually give a full transparent view and have everybody that will be participating in BLOCKS will have you guys actually vote on what you'd want to see, because we essentially created this collection, for you guys and to make it more fun. So whatever you guys feel more comfortable with, we're more than happy to basically do that. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what KOR BLOCKS is. So
well, let's start off with what I think is probably one of, if not the most attractive thing, is how beautiful these blocks are. You guys have been sharing some sneak peeks of the artwork and everything. And like you said, there are different tiers and a lot of different traits that come along with them. One of my favorite, I think, would have to be probably the magma heads. I just love that whole look. It's very like the on fire look. But can you maybe go through what some of the other really cool traits and features of these NFTs are going to be, so that people can kind of look forward to it and do a little digging themselves? And if you guys haven't seen them, go to korblockchain.io/blocks and you will see what I'm talking about. But why don't you just kind of give us a brief little breakdown on the art inspiration and some of the really cool artwork that you guys have that people are going to be seeing very soon.
So I just pinned a tweet there so everybody can see a couple of the traits within it. But I'm actually glad you asked that, because we've put a lot of time and thought into what the art resembles. So essentially, we are a mining project, and how did we symbolize those certain traits? We decided to go with, as far as all the texture goes for the block heads, not only are you mining blocks when you are mining with the crypto miner, but we decided to make those blocks all of earthly textures, right? So if something that you would actually get if you were to, mine in real life, if you're going to go to a cave and mine. obviously, you're not going to find a diamond in some random cave, but the symbol of is like everything and all the textures within the collection have to do with mining. So you have all the legendaries being the most valuable gemstones like diamond, ruby, topaz, all that cool stuff, gold. And then some of the more common traits are something that you would generally have and see more, like bronze and such. So also we decided to throw in the cool thing that you mentioned as far as like the magma and everything. So we've really put some time and thought into having the mining project really get expressed through the art, because when you think of a mining project, you think of like the first thing that pops in your head is, okay, let's put like miner heads in, but we have numerous projects that have already done that, so we had to get creative here for our art style. So
And then there's some really cool traits and backgrounds that you guys have done too. One of them that you've leaked out was the Kadena Ecosystem sweater, which we thought was absolutely awesome. It just kind of blew us all away when we saw it. So let's talk about like, are these going to be, because some of these NFTs that you've posted out in almost like a GIF fashion. Are they going to be stable or stable art, or are they going to be like interactive art, kind of like the KMC ones?
So as far as all the interactive like backgrounds that we had, like the animated ones, those are going to be all the legendaries. The commons and everything else, we do basically colors to gradients. So we try to add in like the Kadena gradient a lot. So like the blue and pinkish, you'll see that soft gradient that's in there. So that's as far as the background goes and everything. But yeah, we really try to add in all the like you guys and all projects that were basically in the Kadena ecosystem and everything, because it's going to be cool, looking back on this collection in a couple of years, and it was like basically a snapshot of, what was going on at the time. So, pair that with the marmalade style art that we're going with and everything. And we feel like, these will definitely be NFTs to remember.
For sure. I've been loving all of the artwork, all of just the very small details that you've put into it. Like the I kind of like the Kadena kind of Louis Vuitton, Gucci kind of layouts that you have on some of the clothes and hats are very, very neat. And the sunglasses are all very awesome. So like, what made you go with the like floating head and the body kind of thing? Like, what made you go with that kind of decision for the artwork? Did you guys hire an artist or something and be like, here, this is what we're thinking, go nuts, and they kind of came up with this idea? Or was this something that you had from the get-go, like a vision in your head of what you wanted them to look like?
So we actually had this full vision on what we wanted it to look like, and we wanted the blockhead like separated because we really wanted the emphasis of it to be the block, right? Our project is called Blocks. We're a KOR Blockchain, and essentially you're finding blocks. So we just wanted that to be the centerpiece. I was even maybe leaning towards doing it a little bit bigger of a head to really emphasize it, but it actually started looking funny on the small body there. But yeah, so basically, yeah, it was all of our organic ideas, and that was a really really fun week of work there coming in, and me and Ben were just scheming on like, oh, what do we want to do for the art, So it was really fun to put it all together.
Now let's get back to the mint itself. You mentioned that since there are the different levels, there's legendary, epic, rare, uncommon, and common, and that the different levels will dictate on the hash rate that are tied to them. Are people going to be able, is it going to be 100% completely random mint? Like you will not know what you have until reveal, or can people like change them up or upgrade them or select a certain hash rate? How exactly does the mint going to probably work?
So yeah, you're gonna go in and you're gonna mint a block NFT, and it won't reveal until 4 weeks, specifically because of this reason and the way that we're doing it. You will not be able. We're making it so you cannot. The team itself cannot, snipe legendaries with higher hash rate. So yeah, essentially, you have 4 weeks upon reveal, and the second it reveals, then you will basically start earning in your mining profits. But yeah, there's no changing the hash rate associated with the collection is static and everything, and basically, yeah, you get what you get pretty much.
Now, when it comes to the mint, I was reading through your Discord, and it seems like you guys have kind of hit a little bit of a snag in your mint time. You were looking at the mint happening on the 27th, which would be next Monday, but it looks like some things may have come into play to maybe mess with that. Do you want to maybe go over that for people listening?
Yeah, of course, and yeah, we'll just be completely transparent. yeah, our developer has decided that he doesn't want to finish the work for blocks and everything, and he's done amazing work with us so far and has a good ground level work done for blocks. And basically, yeah, he just wanted to start working on himself and basically do his calling and his passion and everything. So it wasn't anything, anything out of spite or anything like that, or anything crazy that happened within his life. He's just ready to, pursue his own thing. So we are currently, looking for a new developer as we speak. That's what we've been doing for the past couple of days to try to hurry up for you guys. But luckily, there's not too much left to be done. So we feel that it'll most likely be probably around a week and a half delay for the mint. So yep, we're currently just still trying to find a pack dev and everything that can make this all come together. So
is there any possibility of possibly moving the mint out of your own website to possibly one of the marketplaces like Hypercent or Arcade or anything like that? Is that an option, or is that kind of you're past that point now and don't want to, get rid of all the work that's already been put into this?
no, so we actually had a call with Hypercent a couple days ago discussing this exact thing. So we still aren't for certain, but it basically, if we can't figure that out, we basically will do that. So there's at least that. But our thought is with the way we do our whitelist tiers and the whole cross mint, and the complexity of our mint might just need its own thing. But we haven't really discussed how that would necessarily work with doing it through like Hypersense Launchpad or doing it having them take over. So it's still up in the air right now, and basically we'll probably have that answer within the next couple of days.
Now I'm seeing a lot of people tweeting out that they have their KA3 miners in their hands or starting to mint. Have you guys been receiving anything? Are you guys on that list of people that have been receiving things?
So we didn't order the K3 at the beginning of it. We were basically going to use the sale money for blocks to purchase the K3s. So in essence, we do not have a K3 yet, but yeah, we'll actually be getting some here, hit our lab here shortly, as far as people that are hosting their K3s with us. So they have bought their own K3s, and then they're doing the whole immersion hosting. So as soon as we get those in and everything, with their obviously permission and everything, we'll start figuring out the overclocking and some cool stuff going along with that. So
well, you hear that, folks? If you're one of those people that are sitting on some KA3 miners and you realize that, damn, these things are loud and run hot, and I don't think I want this in my house anymore, there's an option for you. You can probably get a hold of Chase here at KOR Blockchain, and they can hook you up and host and take care of all that dirty stuff for you, and make sure it probably be a good all-around deal for everyone, because no one, I don't think too many people have immersion cooling sets in their homes. Kind of feels like that's not something you'd put in a home, and more of something you'd put in like a factory type setting like you guys have.
yeah, they're huge. We just had the K7 come in today. Like I said, somebody was doing immersion hosting with us, and it's the same size as the K3, and it's just like light years bigger than the normal gold shell KD5s and all that stuff. It almost didn't fit in our immersion tank. It was almost out of the out of the liquid. It was so big. So yeah, and obviously I don't like saying numbers without having something for certain, because it always somehow gets used against you and everything. But I'm definitely confident we can get anywhere from 60 to 80% increase of hash rate out of the K3 once we get it here. So there's a big incentive to immersion cool host it at that point if you have one. So basically everybody that is sitting on those K3s will basically come out with that shortly within the next couple of weeks on what we're doing overclocking wise to make it make sense for you to immersion host with us.
So the KA3s, they're what, 160 something terahash that they come out to?
166, correct.
So if you're able to push those 80 or 60 to 80% over, that's almost another full 100 terahash that you're able to push out of these machines. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Wow, that sounds like definitely something that's worthwhile, and that I'm sure that hosting one of these things. If I have a miner and sent it to you guys to host, of course there's going to be some costs on your end that are going to be accrued through the mining and stuff like that. But if you're being able to push it that much more than what someone would have it just sitting at home on a shelf kind of thing, it really offsets, and if anything brings the profits up even farther for the person, even with the offset cost. So it kind of seems like a win-win situation for everyone.
Yeah, and once we figure out exactly what we can produce out of it, we're gonna basically determine a one-time cost to overclock for the firmware that we've developed and everything. And basically, we're not gonna make it anything too crazy. We'll give you like an ROI on the current extra hash rate that you're mining, somewhere around a couple months, to where after your couple months is done, then you're in profit, your firmware's paid off, and then you're hashing in an immersion cooling tank with your firmware until the thing runs out. So it's what makes sense for immersion cooling though. So it's best that we implement this as a service and basically provide it to you guys.
Now, when it comes to your mining infrastructure, now that you're getting a few more miners hosting and getting some more miners of yourselves, are you guys at the point now where you're looking to expand your actual facilities? Have you started looking into that? What's the situation as opposed on your actual facility wise?
Yeah, so our first tank here is full here in Florida, but our North Dakota immersion tank is live right now with around 60 spots left for miners. So blocks will take a decent portion of that, and then we would basically have that left over for immersion hosting clients. But basically, we have the connections to be able to bring in another 200 spots, because it's not power that's a limiting factor over at our flare site. Currently, it's the actual spots and the immersion tank. So before that gets basically filled up, we would have already had another immersion container slapped down. So as far as scalability, we have solved that problem. And this is what I feel separates KOR Blockchain from the rest, is the fact that we have solved the scalability issue of basically within our own infrastructure. Correct. So by solving the scalability issue, we not only one, improve longevity for us, but two, you start thinking about OG badge rewards, and the whole aspect of, basically, for those who don't know about OG badges, you get 1% of all the NFTs that we sell at KOR. So if you imagine this endless scalability that we pretty much have with this flare site, I mean, I don't think people realize how much 20 plus megawatts, how many miners that can power, and how many NFTs that can power. So I think that this is like ultimately the most prideful thing we're about, is we've solved our scalability issue. And it's not like we're sitting here and having be doing this with another third party and having to basically pay out of pocket for rent here at this flare site. We have 50-50 partners up there, to where we have no cost, and essentially basically there's no huge bill at the end of the day. And I think this oftentimes doesn't get shined upon, is running that many miners and doing it third party wise can cost you 30 to 80 grand, depending on how many miners you are doing this with, of dollars every single month to host them and basically third party it, right? So the fact that we've solved this and created excellent connections with oil gas people up there in the flare, it really just is the foundation of KOR and our success and our sustainability.
Now, for those listening that don't know what flare is, I watched the video that you guys posted of your spot, and it looks absolutely amazing. Can you maybe go over what flare is and how that benefits the project?
Correct. So basically, flare is the process of extracting natural gas from the ground and using that to power miners, right? So this allows us to basically get a very low rate, which then can be transferred off to hosting clients specifically. So regardless, your fee for blocks and NFTs is going to stay the same, if anybody is wondering, as far as electricity. But for people that are interested in hosting, this allows us to have a low rate that we can pass off to you. But the technical side of what flare is basically you have these big pump jacks that will extract, oil, gas, and water from the ground. And it gets sent over to a treater center that basically will separate, the gas, oil, and water. And all that excess oil and water will go into like separate tanks, and you'll see those tanks on the actual video. And then the gas is separated and gets sent to a compressor station, where then the methane is used to basically power these generators that are on site, thus turning it into electrical energy that could then power a bunch of miners. So basically, what flare is and why it's why you need to flare is, basically, you see those, like on that video, you can see there's these little these pipes going up in the air, and there's basically, it looks like a candle. It's like a big candle pretty much. And the stuff that's extracted from the ground, which is methane, can't all be harvested and used to power these generators, because you have a stopgap on how many generators and how much gas you can basically, you know, handle at once. So this gas gets, bypassed and gets basically has to go somewhere. So you have to burn it before going in the atmosphere. So when you burn that methane, it's basically turning it into carbon dioxide and water, which is better for the environment rather than just leaking out tons of methane, which is 80 times percent more potent than CO2 and water for the environment. So it allows us basically to get a killer rate that can pass off to you guys while keeping environmentally friendly methods.
Now, since this is going to be pretty much a green mining initiative, have you applied for the green mining grants from Kadena?
We have not, but we will do so soon. It's been
Just throwing that out there. It could be another way to help offset things a little bit if they're willing to cover a little bit of the cost, because you guys are going this way of a green mining kind of initiative. It might be a good thing to look into.
Correct. Yeah, and next thing that we will be thinking about doing is there's actually some even in a more efficient method than using these combustion generators, is basically like micro turbines and everything that are powered by the same flare gas, but basically use a magnet, and it's essentially like a jet engine, and it's just more efficient and better for longevity purposes. But those are fairly expensive units, so we'll probably hold off on that for a little bit.
That's like I'm looking at I'm been, for the last few years I've been trying to plan out building a new house, and that was one of the things I was looking at. I was looking at the different ways of powering a building without going through the traditional hydroelectric lines and stuff that you see that everyone uses. And I was looking at thermal energy, which is pretty much what the flaring is bringing the energy up out of the earth that's already locked under the ground. People need to realize that thermal energy and the gases and the things that are underneath the surface of the earth are in such abundance and so powerful that not utilizing them seems kind of silly. Like, we could definitely be more utilizing these things. There are a few companies in my area that offer thermal electric systems for houses and stuff. And now it does all obviously depend on location. They'd have to come out and do some tests on the ground, make sure that you actually have these kind of gas lines and fault lines underneath your property and everything. But just thinking outside the box, because the energy, it seems like right now the energy crisis in the world is not going away anytime soon. And with the choices that our government seem to be making, is pushing it in the wrong direction and not really making things better. So, the more ways that people can get into this and do green renewable energy, especially for mining, because mining obviously, like, Bitcoin and all these other coins get the hard rap of being this huge economic and an environmental waste and using up all this extra energy, which is actually a falsehood if you actually dig deep into it and look at, other aspects of everyday life that use a million times more energy than Bitcoin mining ever will. But, it's just being well aware of that. And the fact that Kadena is already a very green initiative focused blockchain protocol on its own, it's just, you just keep piling all these different green things on top of each other. And it just causes your cost every time you add one of these to go down and down and down, which then turns in profit for the user itself. So there's no reason for mining companies and things not to go this way. Now, what made you go with fracking, or not fracking, but with flaring? Was it just the location that you were able to find? Did you happen to look into anything else like hydro, like water hydro kind of setups, solar, anything like that?
Yeah, so as far as using that sort of energy, as far as solar, hydro versus flare, you can basically get a lot of power for basically cheaper. So it's more economically friendly to put up a flare site and be able to pull 20 megawatts than it is to basically put up the solar panels to harness 20 megawatts of energy. So the upfront costs for hydro and solar are a lot more, and as they should be. And we definitely want to look to do that as well. But essentially, the relationship we had with our partners up there in North Dakota and everything have provided us with an opportunity with Flare. So basically, we're at a point, like, we're a growing company, and we're not where we want to be in the essence of where we see ourselves in 20 years. But as time goes on, we might be able to start putting up more of those upfront costs to get something, as clean as solar and hydro, because that's the goal at the end of the day. I would rather have, a 20 megawatts, mining site of completely solar than using flare, because, CO2 is still technically bad for the environment, but basically, I don't know if that explains it well, but yeah, basically based on connections, and it's basically cheaper in a sense.
Anything's better than using the old coal or gas powered hydroelectricity that we use nowadays. So, just that in itself is that's like, I always laugh at all these electric cars like Teslas and stuff, and people are like, oh, they're so good for the environment. And I'm like, but where does the power come from that they're using to charge these cars? And like, it just kind of, it
Yeah.
negates the whole thing right there, like, it's like, well, they're still using coal or nuclear or these plants that
Mhm.
we use to charge and power all of our buildings and stuff. They're still using those to power these cars. So like, it kind of feels like it's like a catch 22 of like, you can't, you lose, even though you're taking 2 steps forward but taking 3 steps back at the same time. I never understood that. The way I see it, the only time you could have something that would be fully self-sustained is if it creates its own energy from thin air, from solar, from whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's
Solar's the move for sure.
yeah, for sure. Like, people laugh at solar, but the only problem with solar that I have is it's the same problem that I have with the batteries and stuff for Teslas, is that
Mhm.
the minerals and the materials used to make these batteries, I don't know if the mines and stuff that they get these things from are any better for the environment than just our regular oil way we're doing
Yeah.
it now. Like,
Well, the move,
it's a
the
fine
best
line.
move
Yeah.
would be let's harness all these materials. Yeah, it's gonna be bad, but at least then we put up, infrastructure that can basically bring in unlimited energy from the sun, and then do everything we can to basically repair and basically fix that. But before all this stuff gets used up, I mean, I don't know how much materials there are to build. I actually saw something, Elon, that he just tweeted recently, as far as like, it really wouldn't take that much surface area to power basically all of the civilization, let alone like 100 times the civilization of like of the world. So I actually think we should be setting up more of these things. But yeah, I don't know the cost and the true environmental impacts of it. But I am aware of the stuff that you mentioned though.
Yeah, I think I saw that tweet too. I think it was something about how if they made a solar farm in like the desert in Syria and like Siberia or something like that, that this one solar farm could power like the majority of, could produce enough energy to power like the majority of the world's needs, which even blew me away. Like, they're just calculations, like, it's not a real world thing, but these people that are doing these calculations are probably a lot smarter than a lot of us. So, it's weird to see where the world's going. I don't think this whole push to get completely green, in the next 20 years kind of thing, is really feasible or even going to be good for the environment. Like, but it is what it is, and we just kind of got to keep rolling with the rules and just do the best that we can to support the environment and make sure that we're not making too much of an impact on it ourselves. And it seems like you guys are going that route, which is really good to hear, as it lines right with the Kadena ethos of being green and being environmentally conscious and all that kind of stuff. So it's really great. Now, when it comes to mining, you guys aren't just so. For example, if I had a miner that mines something other than Kadena, you guys offer services outside of Kadena for hosting for mining. Is that correct?
Yep, of course. Yep. So like I said, we just did the K7 for somebody, and that's a CKB miner. So more than enough spots for people to basically host with us. And the only thing is whenever we get different miners, we do, as far as overclocking, we have to take the time and resources to learn how to overclock it and what we can overclock it to. So as far as that, we're pretty good on the foundation of like Kadena and how that all works out. But it'll be a little project here checking out how this K7 that mines CKB, how it's overclocked and everything. So I would say the only difference.
So if anyone listening has any miners for any other blockchains besides Kadena, maybe it's time to get them going up again, and someone can and KOR can hook you up and with some hosting services. So there's lots of different options out there. Obviously, we're trying to focus mostly on Kadena with this one, but there is lots of options if you're mining any other blockchains, things like that. So there's lots of ways that you can go. Now let's go a little bit more into the NFTs. Now, some of these other projects and things like that are saying, oh, this is going to be good for X amount of time or good for life or anything like that. Can you maybe break down the NFT basis of how things are going to work? So once I mint myself a block and you guys are mining, how is that going to break down? What am I going to receive? What are you guys going to receive? And how long are we going to be receiving these things?
Yeah, so each block will mine Kadena for 3 years, and our previous NFTs that we have, the variable hash rate ones, which by the way, before I forget everyone, once we close the OG badge here within the next week, we're gonna change the price per terahash and it'll be updated to like current market. So if you don't want to do the degen gambling aspect of blocks, then at least you have a proven thing that's already been paying out for the past like 5 months, and you can select your own hash rate to make sure you get your money's worth of hash rate if you don't want to gamble. So with blocks though, yeah, each block will mine Kadena for 3 years, and we do 24% of that Kadena mined will be used to pay for electrical and maintenance. And for those that it may seem like a big percent, but if you were to run this miner at your house, I don't know the calculation right now, but basically it can be more than 33%, and it has been in the past. So 1% of this Kadena mined will be sent to OG badge holders as well, and payouts are sent every 2 weeks to holders. So as far as the whole duration, I know you mentioned other projects had for life, but basically to us in our eyes in math, that is unsustainable to pay out somebody for life. And somewhere along that line, things don't end up being what people think that they are. So we do not want to promise you for life and you guys have to be upset that we don't do it. So we're going to give an honest time period of 3 years, and from the moment you mint, you have 300 or 365 times 3. That's exactly when your NFT will stop paying out. And we do have some cool stuff planned that we haven't obviously thought through completely as far as when that 3-year duration ends, but we'll definitely be adding utility and making sure that either you can add additional hash rate on once your contract ends, you can restore your current hash rate, or some cool ideas on making sure that this beautiful art doesn't go to waste after that duration ends.
Awesome. Yeah, because if I'm sure there's lots of people that are going to be at their 3-year mark and be like, hey, let's just keep on rolling with this. This is going really good. But another thing people have to remember is that these miners themselves have a shelf life as well. Not to mention, what's to say that, Gold Shell or another service might all of a sudden come out and say, hey, we're putting out a new miner that does 200 terahash, or something like that. And it'll just blow the ones that you already have currently out of the water. And then next, you're looking at, okay, now the ones that are the hash rate has gone way up, so the miners that we had before aren't paying out as much as were before. So then you'd be looking at selling those and replacing them with the new ones. I'm sure you guys have already taken that into effect and thought that through.
Correct. And I actually have a little bit of insight that can help give people kind of more comfort when it comes to Kadena mining, especially with the K3. So, little story. So when Kadena first came out, somebody like Bitmain did not want to devote all their time and resources into creating a miner for it, right? They were making money off of other coins, Bitcoin, Doge, etc. So you have the smaller companies like IB Link and Gold Shell that like pop into play and see this as a capitalization opportunity. So whether Gold Shell or IB Link believed in Kadena as a coin, they saw that there was no competition, so they went and built with honestly their minimum technology, not even close to Bitmain as we see, as far as hash rate and being able to cool and all that. So they come out and they capitalize on it, and that's why there was such a huge jump in computational performance. Was Bitmain is just that advanced with their technology that they saw Gold Shell and IB Link kind of taking over this Kadena market, and they were like, F you guys, they just swung a home run, and they just basically I wouldn't say put them out of business, but You look at the difference between some of the previous, Ivy Link and Gold Shell miners, and you look at the K3, it's like not even close. The efficiency is not even close. So you get like this, pull the same amount of watts for essentially, triple to four times the hash rate. So it's not even comparable. So with Bitmain coming out, I think they just, like I said, they came out with, a full swing. And basically, this is kind of their most updated technology. Yeah, we'll see within the next year, we'll see like a K3 plus come out, with 5 to 10 plus in hash rate. But I don't think that, within the next year or two, we see a miner that 4x is the terahash of this current miner, right? So that is my speculation. Obviously, don't take it for fact, but for us, investing in K3s and using this as the foundation of our project, it gives us comfort that like, oh wow, there's not going to be another company. Gold Shell's not going to come out, next week, and then there's a 500 terahash miner. Like we're not worried about that, and we feel that these are, getting these now will be the best, best. I don't want to say investment, but best for our business, you can say.
Yeah, Bitmain stepping into the Kadena mining game was kind of a be all end all for other crypto mining producers that are making mining equipment, just because Bitmain is the #1 mining company in the world. They've been around since the early days of Bitcoin. They were one of the first companies to produce ASIC Bitcoin miners on a mass scale the way they are. And they obviously have the team and the technology behind it to kind of push all other competition out of the way and just take over and run with the game. So, but you never know. Who knows? Maybe one of these other companies like Ivy Link or Gold Shell will have something up their sleeves, or produce a better chip or something like that they're able to either at least compete with Bitmain or even possibly surpass it. You never know what the future brings. Now, when it comes to the older miners, I'm not a miner myself, so I'm not exactly aware of these things, but I have been watching the increase in hash rate for Kadena mining in the last couple of weeks, just slowly, like, and surely just going up, 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 up. When it comes to the older ones, like a KD box, anything like that, are they even viable anymore? Like, what if I had a place where I was paying zero electrical costs, would they still be profitable in any sense?
Yeah, if you yeah, I guess it really just depends on what your electrical rate is. So as far as usually KD boxes and stuff are ran, in your house or somewhere, because you don't need to, they don't pull that much where you can run them in the house and everything. So, but usually in a house, you're looking at a retail rate, which, here in Florida is, I can tell you, not the best. It's like 14 cents. So, I guess it really depends on where you're at, but yeah, we've actually had to stop running certain miners, certain lower model Kadena miners like the Ivy Link K1 Plus and like the 15 terahash, 18 terahash, because it doesn't make sense anymore, you know. So essentially, this is for people to understand. This is kind of what the calculation comes down to. So we have a bunch of KD5s, let's say. We'll say around 10. You're running 10 or KD5s to basically have the same amount of hash power as a one miner. So not only are you saving on power slots, but you're saving on power as well. You'd have to power all nine of those miners. So it's just like by us switching to the K3, we can clear like our whole immersion tank, and we can just it just makes a light years of difference. So we'll undo 10 KD5s, and then we'll replace it with like one K3. So it's pretty remarkable.
And what happens with the KA5s and the other ones when that happens? Do they just get put on a shelf and forgot about, or do you guys try to resell them? What happens to these old miners? Do they just become dusty relics in a corner somewhere?
Yeah, for now they're paperweights, and then and then once the market recovers and it's at price per terahash is at a decent rate, because yeah, we see the difficulty shooting up, but it hurts when difficulty shoots up and price doesn't. So next year on our next bull run, the price of Kadena will outperform the ability of people to plug in miners and do that. So I think coin price will outcompete difficulty. So oftentimes that's like, it is a negative thing. We are more attracted to the negative thing. We're like, oh, what about difficulty? What about difficulty? But what about coin price? What about when Kadena gets back up to $25? So, luckily we have that to balance out. So at that point, the K3 price per terahash will increase, and at the end of the day, it's still Kadena hash rate and it's still valuable. So our game plan, I guess you can say, is, we will be selling all the previous equipment. There's a lot of miners sitting around in our office pretty much that we aren't running because it's not efficient. And once it is, Kadena is back up to good levels, then we will sell the miner and we'll be done with it. So
Now, when it comes right now, obviously with the price being low, do you think more people mine when the price are low, or do you think more people just buy when the price is low, buy the Kadena, and then when the price goes up, then they purchase a miner and start mining it? Which it's kind of the same mentality of people who buy Bitcoin at 60,000, but then aren't buying it right now at 25. That kind of seems
yeah,
like the same mentality to me. Would that be
correct.
kind of correct? Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens. Like I just don't understand. It's like people are just backwards thinking when it comes to these kind of things. If anything, even Cameron was talking about that the other day about how, he bought his first Kadena miner for like 15 grand way back, when prices were really low. And then as Kadena got more expensive and the price went up, even the price of his miner went up to like $50,000 for the miner. So the fact that people are willing to, it's hard to say because, like you said, it all depends on your infrastructure costs, on
Mm-hmm.
whether or not it's feasible for you to even run a miner, let alone put down the big, $10,000 to $15,000 purchase.
Correct.
Whereas, if even he says if he would have bought $15,000 worth of Kadena at the same time he bought his miner, he would have made way more money than selling the miner at $50,000 and keeping the bit
Mm-hmm.
of Kadena that he mined and selling it too. It's like
Yeah.
it's a hard choice to make, but
Yeah,
if you
but
have the infrastructure and you have the setup, it's kind of an easy choice to make, I feel.
yeah, I always say when people are at like, oh, do I buy the token? Do I mine? What should I do? What should I do? Well, everybody would like to say it's so funny. You every time you meet somebody that's in the crypto space, you meet somebody that has bought crypto. Everybody will tell you, "Oh, I had that coin. If I didn't sell, it would have been." How many times have you heard that come out of your friend, family, or a fellow Web3 member, right? So you
I've
hear,
said that multiple times
yeah,
myself.
I've said it myself. Oh, imagine, because I got into Doge when it was before, like, started pumping and everything. So I was like, oh well, what if I would have held a Doge? You tell the story, but this is the reason why mining does exist, is because everybody could have, should have, would have sold. And basically, if you mine for that 4-year period, you will outperform the amount of coins if you were to buy, X, right? So it's a simple calculation. If we were to buy X amount of coins right now at the current market, there are your coins, right? You're getting no more, no less. And if I can have a miner that produces X amount of coins, obviously with difficulty increasing and putting that in the formula, but there's a specific date later on in the future where you have more tokens than how much you would have previously bought, and you have the hash rate of your miner still. So yeah, that's pretty much the best way I like to explain it. But yeah, everybody, oh, if I would have made this more, if I did that, I just think it's a very, very not good saying. I don't know the words for it, but
I have an old saying I always used to say about stuff like that was, if woods and coulds were nuts and bolts, we'd all have robots. But
yeah.
it is what it is. Yeah, it's a funny thing. Crypto mining is a fickle beast. It's something that it's either you take the plunge or you really don't. Is really the only way I could look at it. And a lot of people I think are scared to take that plunge because it is a very big initial investment. It is a learning curve because these things are not plug and play. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to buy a miner. It's going to be super easy. I just plug it in, hook the internet into it, and away we go. But no, there's a lot of steps to it. You have to know how to like create your wallet, link everything. You have to know how to access the controls for it and everything. It's no simple task.
Hey, man. Well, luckily we have projects like ourselves and other mining projects that allow you to basically not have to worry about any of that. We have the infrastructure. We guarantee no downtime, so you don't have to worry about parts going out on your miner, and basically guaranteeing you 3 years of zero downtime. So also not having to worry about selling those profits to pay for your power bill. We take the power out of the coins that have mined before sending to your wallet and stuff like that. So there's so much solution in this. And then the biggest thing that struck out to me that you just said was the huge initial upfront cost. So being able to fractionalize, a miner and hash rate into a bunch of NFTs will lower the barrier to enter, so you can get the good benefits of the slow and steady crypto mining, with a low cost, essentially.
Exactly. The only thing people are going to need to do this is a phone or a computer or something that they can have a wallet on. And that's it. That's all you're going to need to be able to get involved with core and blocks and mining. It's making it so that everyone in the world can access miners no matter where you are. If you live in an area where energy costs are through the roof, or you live in like some area where, you're not even allowed to really mine yourself or whatever. There's lots of things that this is going to open up doors for everyone. It's very exciting times that we live in, where we're giving people access to these kind of utilities in a very simple and easy way that people can understand. And they also get some really cool art to go along with it. Like I said, I keep saying that these blocks are probably some of the coolest looking NFTs on the market, and are going to give the Kadena Mining Club NFTs a run for their money. I think people are going to be like, yeah, well, look at mine. Mine's all shiny and glittery, and it's
Yeah, I know we put
definitely very cool.
a lot of effort into thinking about it, and honestly a lot of capital into the art. But yeah, I'd have to agree. I love KMC's art too as well, and we've always said that maybe we might be a little biased, but we like our art and KMC's as far as the best art on Kadena Eco right now. There's definitely other good art and everything, but yeah, so that's where we're thinking the same thing.
Now, for your giveaway that you're wanting to do, did you maybe want to go through that today, right now, as we're getting near the end of the AMA? So give people time to be able to do that. I don't know if you want to talk about what you're wanting to give away. I know that some pretty sweet gifts, and people could really win big right now. I know I, for one, wouldn't mind winning myself some blocks NFTs. It's going to be pretty sweet. I think that you guys are going to have no problem minting out. With only 1,111 of these things, it's going to be pretty quick and easy, I think, considering KMC sold out 10 grand. There's lots of other NFT series right now. People are starting to pick up a little bit more when it comes to the NFTs. We were in a bit of a lull there for the past month or two, where it didn't really seem like anyone was really making any moves. No one really wanted to be parted from their Kadena. They just wanted to hodl, 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 and hold down strong. No one was really minting too many things. So we had a lot of NFT projects that were kind of stuck in a limbo because of that. But I think we're starting to work our way out of that. We're starting to see a little bit of an uptick right now in the prices and in the ecosystem. Lots of really cool news coming out from the Kadena team itself. If you guys haven't been checking those out, make sure you go back and watch the Kadena Fireside that they just had. Lots of really good information in that. They had another one today that Tyler did with a team that's developing a faucet and another wallet system, which is really cool. So make sure you guys go check those out as well. But yeah, these blocks are definitely going to be something I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in wanting to build into. And hopefully you guys can figure out something to get that out to people very soon here, because like I said, and if anyone that's listening to this has any experience with pack development, make sure to get involved, get in touch with Chase over at Blocks, join their Discord, say what's up. Might be able to offer them some help and get the ball really moving here.
Yep, and we have a lot of stuff planned here, and you know how we do it at KOR. We won't say it until it's almost all the way built. Kind of how we did the whole blocks the blocks reveal and everything. So we have a lot planned, guys, and we're actually looking for a developer to be more part of the company than somebody that wants to work per job. We kind of we want to take in somebody that does have stake within a company and kind of be our guy that we can always trust and go to. So that's what we're looking for in our next developer here. So yeah.
Yeah, an in-house developer would always be much better than a contracted out person, for sure. Someone that you have there at your beck and call to kind of do stuff, and someone who can fix things on the fly if need be, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, man,
hopefully someone steps forward. That'd be very awesome.
yeah, we believe that that'll ultimately bring a better product to KOR as well, because the more somebody is, if they're staked into the the success of KOR, they'll be more likely to give their recommendations and and basically optimize things as best as possible rather than, oh, this is going to be that, this is going to be that. So it's like, having somebody as, stake within the company and everything will definitely improve the overall product and, development of the project as a whole. So.
All right. I don't know if you want to do this giveaway stuff. If you're ready for that, feel free and we'll work that out because I'm sure lots of people are very interested and hopefully want to get their hands on some stuff.
Yes. So, like I said, for this giveaway, we're going to give away 2 tier 4 whitelists. For those that don't know, you can have multiple whitelists in our collection, and the more whitelists you have will determine your mint priority because whitelists can mint unlimited, meaning that even if you are whitelisted one time, doesn't mean you will be able to mint depending on how the ones before you mint, they can mint it out. And we're giving away a 2 tier 4 whitelists, and that basically guarantees that you will get to mint. It's our very top tier to mint behind our OGs. And it also helps you save an additional $70 on your mint. So changing the public sale from 300 per mint to 230. So we're giving away 2 of those. And for this one, we won't do any fancy trivia questions or any of that. What we're simply just going to do is and Ben's on the KOR blockchain here. And we're going to basically just screenshot whoever's in this space, and from our last post as well, we'll make sure that everybody followed that and had retweeted the space and everything. So and by the way, that's already screenshotted, everyone, so don't don't get any ideas. But yeah, so basically we're going to check on that, and we'll actually draw the winner sometime after the space, a little bit later in a couple hours. And we'll be posting that in our Discord. So if you are entered already from being in this space, feel free to go in our Discord and look out in our giveaway channel for the announcement of that. And we'll be announcing it through your Twitter name. So just make sure you have those notifications on. So because there's no direct way that we can correlate your Discord and Twitter name. So we'll just announce it through that, and we'll reach out through Twitter to set that up. So yeah, that's it for the giveaway. But if you don't mind, Chris, we have a couple questions here in our Discord that we'd like to answer, and then we can open it up on this AMA here too for anyone that has any questions. So
yeah, for sure.
Cool. So for the first one, we have Dan C from Discord. So he had a couple questions here. When are you going to order the K3s? So upon the sale, we'll be ordering the K3s with the sale money, and we have 4 weeks until reveal from the public sale because of the way that we have the rarity set up. If we minted all the legendaries within the first 200 NFTs and we revealed very fast, we'll say a couple days after the public sale, then basically the collection wouldn't sell out anymore because people wouldn't want that. So for everybody to have a fair shot, we're going to give some duration until that. So we will have 4-week period for that whole sale to order the miners and get them up and running for reveal. So our best and honest opinion is we can most likely have these miners already plugged in, hashing at a North Dakota facility upon reveal. That's not a guarantee, but it looks like shipping wise with these K3s, it's just very iffy and stuff. So yep, I would imagine running no later than a week or 2 after the 4-week reveal period. And that's a question there. So I hope I answered everything. And then what happens if you have difficulty acquiring K3 miners? This is from Romanowski here. So I'm pretty sure he means KA3 miners because we will not be using the IB Link K3s for our collection. But basically, if it's difficult, it's difficult. We have a set amount of hash rate that we're guaranteed you guys. And if we have to pay a premium from a secondary supplier to receive that, then it'll come out of our pockets. So I would have to worry about us not being able to acquire them. We will make sure that we will get them. And then Dragon Eye, I was actually wondering how a mining cycle looks like. The NFT's lifespan is 3 years, but for example, there is a new better miner within those 3 years. Are selling current K3s lucrative because the price goes 5 to 10x? Sorry, it's a long question, guys. How will this affect current mining NFTs, and how will the decisions be made? Dragon Eye, I'll have to I'll answer that one. It's pretty complex, so I'll go ahead and answer that once we're done here via Discord. I hope you don't mind. And then yeah, that's all we had from the Discord there. And if anybody has any other questions, feel free to request, and Chris will ping you in.
For sure, yeah. If anyone listening has any questions, definitely send up a request to speak, and we'll pull you on up here. And if you have any other follow-up questions, like Chase said, get involved with the Discord. Join the KOR Discord. They have a very active and awesome community in there. Chase and everyone is always in there chatting it up. So you guys, get your questions answered pretty much right away. And they're very awesome, very loving community, very welcoming, and very helpful. Everyone in there is always helping each other and answering each other's questions. So make sure you guys click on the Blocks logo here or the KOR logo, uh, get involved, join their Discord, and yeah, hopefully you guys can win yourselves some cool whitelists. And if not, you can always, still purchase some NFTs when the time comes. It's going to be very awesome and very worthwhile, I feel. So we have a few people here that wanted to step up. Let's go with Ron first. Our man Ron from Wizards. If you have something to say, go right ahead, sir.
What's up, Chris? What's up, Chase? Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Yeah, so I had two questions. My first one would be, I think I'd asked this before, and I kind of forget what you guys said. I know you're going to be doing like a cross mint. Do you guys have plans to work with like to have like be able to mint and credit card? Like I know that that can be kind of a headache because you have to work with someone who will like process the payments and kind of outsource that.
So we were planning on that. We just wanted to see basically how everything would go with just taking ETH and everything, and that was like the next thing that we were going to propose, but to our developer. But obviously, with the whole situation that just happened, that's not for certain anymore. And if we can get somebody that basically can do it all, then we have no problem doing that. But I know there's been a lot of times too, even when we've been talking to a couple pack devs here. I'm actually I'm very surprised how many people have been. It's pretty cool though, how many people have been learning Pact, and that's the only language that they started learning. So we've ran into a couple developers that are like, yeah, I can do the Pact stuff, but I don't know Solidity and everything. And for me, I always thought that like you kind of started on Solidity and ETH and then came over. So as long as it's compatible with our developer in the time frame, then we definitely want to incorporate that, because not only is it helpful for you guys, but it is helpful for the mint too, to help us sell out. So that would be the answer. And if you had another question too, or
well, yeah, I had a separate one, but I kind of have a follow up, kind of like based on your answer. So, if the mint, like the February 27th mint, does get pushed back, just kind of due to like the issues with like not really having a developer, will you guys push back like the rarity reveal as well?
No. So we want to get that out to you guys. You guys have waited so long on that. The only thing that I will have to say though is like, there might be some variation if we come out on the 24th, and just knowing how Kadena rocks, if we get an explosion or even if we get a move to the downside. And basically we have certain margins like that we use to calculate how this collection can be both good for you guys and, profitable at the same time, because we can't obviously just like lose money in this collection and spend all this time doing this. So we have certain margins that we do need to follow. And basically if those margins get blown out for whatever reason, then within that week, which is a low percent, there is a chance. But we just want to get it out to you guys. And it's about a 95% chance that on the 24th, we do announce it, that stays for certain. Correct. So I just want to give a little disclaimer, but we would never obviously promise you guys something and then, go about our word. So there is, I do want to put that in the air, because K3 prices, they're so volatile. Like in a couple of days of Kadena not even moving, they went up like $2 to $3 grand. Like it's insane. So yeah, it's just very tough to do that, but we will be doing it on the 24th.
Okay, perfect. And then so the other question I had is just kind of in relation to the specific hash rates. I don't want you to give me any numbers, as I know that like you won't. I'm just kind of wondering, can you just kind of give like some vague detail about like the minimum, like
Yeah,
for
sure.
like the commons? Because I know that like if it's low enough and someone mints a common, they might be like pissed and have some backlash and be like, oh, this is so low that I'm not even going to ROI in 3 years.
Yeah, great. I'm glad you said that, man. That's a great question, because we've designed the bottom of the collection to make sure that you hit your ROI and profit for basically that duration of the contract. So you get zero downtime for 3 years. So basically we can calculate and make sure that you hit your ROI. No, we're not going to put your ROI at year 3 on day 365. No, we're not going to do that. But even with our fee incorporated too, we have done the math on it. So we're going to make it to where, it's basically we don't want people losing money in this collection, obviously. And basically we're gonna set those parameters to where you can hit your ROI most likely around half your duration of your contract. So we want to make sure you hit your ROI. If market prices and difficulty doesn't change, we'll say at current market we can set like around a 1.5 year ROI for the very bottom, and then basically do that. So there are obviously depending on current market conditions, but because that can change, we can have within the next couple of days the difficulty shoot up more, and then now instead of 0.18 KDA per terahash per day, it drops down. So then we'll always set it based on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I just kind of I've expressed this before. I'm getting new to mining, and mining NFTs are kind of up my alley because I'm a college student, and like full transparency, I got like $1,000 in my bank account, and that's it. So like I'm in no position to buy one of these miners, or let alone even like host it myself. So
Yep.
so I've really been thinking about it. So last question, I promise. I didn't.
No
really
worries,
mean to
man.
get
Keep
up here.
asking. I'm sure there's a bunch of people too with the same questions, and they don't even know. They're not even thinking of these questions. So I'm glad that you're speaking about it. And real quick though, before you answer that question, I will say, if you are, after you see the hash rate models, and if you are like a little iffy, there's still a 10% chance to get a good amount of hash rate, which is better than you're getting any NFT space, in my opinion. It's like, it's like 5 out of every 10,000, whatever that calculation comes to. But our variable hash rate NFTs, the second OG badge ends, we're going to bring that price per terahash around like $100. So for your, $300, if you were to spend, for your blocksmith or whatever your whitelist is, say 250, you can basically get like essentially 3 terahash. So it takes the risk off, but then you don't have that ability to really, pull and mint that like crazy amount of hash rate and have the art. So we're making that solution for people that, don't necessarily have like, don't want to sit there and basically gamble, so because that's essentially what this is. We're not lying. It's it's degen, it's fun, but there are going to be some people that really really come up with the legendaries and everything. So
that's perfect. You like really like read my mind. Like I didn't even really get to ask the question, and you already answered it. So
yep. And
yeah,
dude, this is why we built everything we've done has been for a specific purpose. This is why we built our variable hash rate and our true payouts. Like they're already working. We're paying out holders right now for our variable hash rate NFTs. And this is why we did this first, is because, we didn't want to be known as some NFT project that, oh, they're gambling, all this stuff. Like we just wanted to be truly, this is what our bread and butter is variable hash rate NFTs. And we wanted to do that. So the people that basically do not find the correspondence and that works for their favor, then basically they can go and use this as a solution. So we thought about this prior.
cool. I'm gonna go ahead and let my friend Diesel ask his question, and then if I have any more, then I'll chime back in.
Cool, man.
Good afternoon, guys.
Yo, what's up?
Quick question. And you probably might have said it, but I was in the busy working as well. The oh my god, brain fart. Sorry.
No worries.
It was right there. Oh, are you gonna do? And before you order any of the KA3s, are you gonna wait till full mint out, or are you gonna do it as stages?
That's a great question. So we were looking around the 2 week period, 2 to 3 week period, to make sure that obviously we would know shipping time at that point. If it's like a week or 2 weeks, depending. We were looking at maybe halfway through it to just buy everything and maybe front the rest and cover the rest of the hash rate before it mints out, right? So we were looking to basically acquire all the miners for the collection at halfway, but that is subject to change. But yeah, we're looking, and you get the best deals for obviously more you buy in bulk. So we might do that. So
Awesome, cool. And then has KOR purchased any KA3s for their variable hash rate, or not?
currently we only have one that will be on the way for variable hash rate. But we actually, if you didn't know, our first sale that we ever had with the variable hash rate was around 700 terahash supply. And those were miners that we had currently already had, that we had bought up front. And we didn't do like a crazy marketing thing. Like I said, this is more of like proof of concept that we can build this, functionality and create these mining NFTs and pay out correctly. So we have done that. So we actually have a lot of hash rate, left over. I believe there has been around 70 terahash that's been bought from that. So we do have a good amount of, we'll call it a couple K3s worth of hash rate that we can sell for currently for the variable hash rate NFTs that weren't sold for the first sale, because the first sale included the OG badge. And then basically once we do this, we can lower the price for the variable hash rate NFTs, and then boom. So that's, yes, we'll have hash rate, significant hash rate for that.
Okay. And then in order to get an OG badge, you have to either purchase the variable hash rate, correct?
Yeah. So the way we honestly did it the wrong way. We should have done the OG badge and then you get your 1 terahash for free. But we made like a slider at that time. So all you have to do is mint 1 terahash mining NFT, and then you can go claim your OG badge, even though it's OG badge sale. So we did it backwards. So that's completely our fault. But basically, yeah, you just need a 1 terahash NFT, and then that allows you to claim your OG badge. And then I guess a little bit too, while we were bringing up the badge and everything, that we haven't mentioned, that we have like one more utility to, besides like all the 5 to 6 different things that you get with like blocks and the current 1% of like all of our NFTs mines. We've actually added another utility that we'll announce only after it closes. And it's pretty big idea, and a very big thing that's, as we believe it's going to be successful, and we believe we can pull it off, but we think that can be we can be very good for holders. So we don't want to jump the gun and announce it yet, but we will. There's a big utility coming for that afterwards, pretty much. So
Awesome. And then what is the price for the OG badge? Or
so
is that
OG
something you
badge.
get?
So the way to look at it is you get the OG badge plus the 1 terahash, and then that's $680, but you can only use Kadena for it. So basically, I guess so just you get the 2 things for $680, and then that's paid in Kadena.
But you're buying a 1 terahash one, but you also get your OG badge, which is another terahash. So technically, you're getting 2 terahash for that price, correct?
So the OG badge is not defined as 1 terahash. It increases terahash as the more NFTs we sell, and it gets divided by like all the holders. So the projected hash rate for the OG badge in the future, once we start selling more NFTs, it could be anywhere from 20 terahash to like 100, depending on how many we sell within the 9-year duration of it. But so there's not like an actual terahash paired with it. You just get all the utility, and then, for instance, like blocks are NFTs sold by KOR, correct? So that 1%, like we coded that in the smart contracts for the for blocks, that 1% of the terahash for the whole collection will get sent and split between OG badge holders. So every collection we do, and each NFT that we sell, the KOR hash rate NFT and some other things that we're working on right now, that all goes towards the OG badge. So essentially, if you're bullish on KOR Blockchain and you're bullish on us and the ability to sell these collections out, then that's what makes sense on why you'd want to get the OG badge. So we do a lot of cool utility with blocks and everything, but basically that is essentially what the OG badge is. And
Awesome.
that's
I appreciate it.
have left. Sorry.
And thank you for hosting this space. Kadena Ecosystem.
Thanks for the questions, man. It's cool to see you guys involved and interested in what we're doing over here. We've put like a lot of time and effort into doing all this and learning it. So I'm thankful for you guys for tuning in and everything and learning about this. So
awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for the questions. Go ahead, Ron.
So, in my last question, did you say? So I know that once the OG badge sale stops, then you'll be able to buy just 1 terahash. Did you say like somewhere around like $100 per terahash? Does that kind of mean that like since the price for the terahash and the OG badge are like baked into each other right now, does that like would it be fair to say that if it is like about $100 per terahash and the full price is $680, then like the price for an OG badge right now alone is $580 if you could buy it itself?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, pretty much. You can say you can think of it that way, but yeah, as soon as the OG badge ends, you can't buy it anymore, and then yeah, we'll drop prices at 100. Currently, right now, we just talked about this a couple days ago. It'll be 100 terahash, and that'll happen like the second the OG badge ends. So you'll actually be able to do that before blocks mints, and with those NFTs, like the hash rate is already like in our facility running. So like you'll mint, and the second you mint, that's when you start receiving. And I actually I'm sending payouts right after this space to our current 1 terahash holders. So basically like I'm doing that payout like right after here. So you can see all of our current payouts too in our giveaway channel, or not giveaway channel, sorry, in our payout sub channel, not giveaways. But Yeah, so it's payouts in our Discord there, so you can see all of our recent ones.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So I'll shut up now. But thank you guys for hosting this, and I really appreciate you taking so many questions from me, and it was really insightful.
Hey, no worries, man. Thanks for your questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in with these questions. Always great to get some more community involvement. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today, and Chase for joining us and updating us on the progress of blocks. So hopefully anyone listening to this, if you have some Pack dev experience and maybe even some Solidity dev experience, sounds like blocks may be a good place for you to go talk to them and hopefully get some work, as they could really use some help. And hopefully this space will help bring you some good people, and even if not Pack developers, maybe at least just some more people to get involved with the project in itself, because community is really what drives these projects, and we really need the people to jump behind and get behind these people, because Chase, and hopefully we can talk again very soon, Chase, and catch up again about the more progress as things come out. I really love talking with you guys.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for having me and everything. And like I said, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come in and listen about our project. We essentially would be nothing without you guys. So
yeah, make sure you guys go ahead.
Sorry. And yeah, just thanks for tuning in. So
awesome. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming by today. And like I said, give Blocks a follow, give KOR Blockchain a follow. Both the accounts are in the space right now, and join their Discord and get involved. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can find some good people, and we'll do this again soon.
Cool. And one last thing, guys, we're giving away whitelist to active community members. It's the last of our whitelist coming up to our mint. So even just engaging in organic conversation in there, we'll give away whitelist. So if you don't win that tier 4, there's still hope. So.
Oh, and go ahead, Ron.
All right, sorry, my bad. Can I drop some KOR X Wizards Arena alpha real quick?
Drop it.
So we created a new clan within the arena. For anybody that doesn't know, we have clans where you can kind of join up with your friends, and eventually you'll be able to fight against other clans. And we've started kind of an initiative where we want all the mining projects to build their own clans. So we started a KOR clan today. So if any of you own any wizards and are also a big fan of the guys over at KOR, then hop in the arena. I'll sign you a role, and you'll get access to a KOR Blockchain lounge within our server. And it'd be kind of a cool way for you guys to just link up, compete against the other miners. And I'm really trying to get some more guys in there, because eventually, once we have these wars, we're going to have like the great miner wars, where all these miners from different projects can battle it out.
And what we can do also on a side note, man, is we can we'll do a giveaway. We'll give away a couple wizards, and under the circumstance that the people that win them have to be part of the KOR clan. So
yeah, that sounds awesome. Well, I definitely have to do that, and maybe me and you will do a space sometime soon.
Cool, man.
And one last thing there, Chase, when you're getting your new developer and everything, try to make sure to incorporate Wallet Connect as an option for connecting your wallet, because just a little birdie told me that some of the new wallets coming out are going to be supporting that. So might want to just throw that into the mix.
I love the little birdies.
Yeah. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining up tonight and coming to listen. We really appreciate all your support. And like I said, follow Blocks, follow KOR Blockchain, get involved with their Discord, and hopefully very soon people will be able to get their hands on these amazing NFTs. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, and have a great day and take care.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you guys.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.